We good? Beth, you good? Okay. I'm gonna call this regular session meeting of the Perry Township Board of Trustees to order. First thing is pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, looking for a motion to approve the minutes of May 3rd.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second vote.
Yes.
Yes. Public comment period. Brookside,
No report.
Worthington Hills.
The only thing we have to report tomorrow night is a parade committee meeting, and do we know if Deputy Chief
Craig,
will be there?
do not. I know Lieutenant Quigley has reached out on a couple different occasions, but I don't know if he's heard back.
Okay. And thank the lieutenant for the 5th and 6th grade graduation parade. Does Brookside have the same?
Don't know. He reached out to the principal of Brookside, but he hasn't heard back.
Okay.
So, you know, there's a 5th and 6th grade.
Usually.
That's what I thought. And he reached out, but he has yet to hear back because we're trying to make sure so that we
We
have
cover
the
it.
proper staff.
Sure.
So,
If you end up not getting a response, let me know. And I'll.
okay,
That's all I have.
give it to like Wednesday, Thursday. Thank you.
How'd the garage sales go on Saturday?
Oh, good.
Yes, went very well.
Very well.
Very
Everybody-
Good.
56. Thank the officers for,
Yeah, absolutely. I know.
it was in the 50s.
Yeah.
Not all in Perry, obviously.
Yeah, I think Doc said he counted like 55, something like that. And he said it went great.
Yeah, it's my 14th year of doing the garage sale maps.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Hey, I need to redistrict you. I want to do some maps for us. Just throwing it out there. I didn't pass art very well in school.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on to zoning. I'm assuming we need to declare, what's happening? Anything on that?
It's just been moving through the court system really
Okay.
slowly.
All right. I move to declare the property owned by Naomi L. Taylor located at 987 Larkstone Drive in Perry Township a nuisance.
Second.
Vote.
Yes.
Yes. Anything on Thompson Street development?
No.
Under new business, we have a motion. I'll move to that we've in receipt of the zoning commission recommendation for Perry Town.
Oh, there's a planning commission meeting on Wednesday. I should talk to you about that.
Okay. Road department.
Good evening, guys, everybody. I'd like to start with new business first, if we could. We've been looking into the school zones in Brookside and Worthington Hills. I would like to update all the school signs within the school zones to the new yellow-green reflective material and bring the post to our current black post we use for our street signs and stop signs. So tonight I'd like to ask the board to approve the purchase of school signs and posts from Clean at a cost of $7,000.
And this came as a result of conversations with the school district, and the county engineer was involved, school principals and all that. Right?
Yes. And the mobility director at Franklin County, he's the one that recommended that we bring our school crossing signs into compliance with the new reflectivity rules.
Do we need to do anything with the crosswalk on Snuffer or just those in front of the school?
Just the ones in front of the school. I believe the crosswalk at Snoffer, I'm not sure if that is our jurisdiction.
Well, I would think the signage there is fairly new, so it maybe already passes the,
It does pass there with the flashing lights. And I know the hot tape that's used for the crosswalk is fairly new as well.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize the expenditure of $7,000 for the purchase of new school signs and posts.
Uh, Vote,
Yes.
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 Thank you. Moving on, this year's concrete, I'd like to contract TNT to remove roughly 1,500 square feet of flat concrete on Markhaven Court and replace it, and 95 linear feet of curb and gutter on Blind Brook Drive at a cost not to exceed $20,400. The concrete, the curb and gutter is the section on Blind Brook where he messed up. It kind of slopes off pretty quickly, causing a hazard. And to get it right, we need to come back another 50 feet from the section he did last year.
And he's paying for part of this, correct?
He is on the 95 feet, he's only charging us the labor, all the concrete. Basically, half of what he did last year is normal price of $41 a linear feet. He's charging us $20 a linear feet on it.
Will this satisfy Miss Smiley to get her grass growing in front of her house?
I would hope so.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize the expenditure of $20,400 for work conducted by TNT Concrete for curb and gutter as well as on Markhaven Court.
Second, vote,
Yes.
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 Under old business, the drainage project, the study of the Candlewood Lane stormwater and Southview, Clubview at Southview storm sewer. The proposal from Sands and Decker was approved by the county. We're just waiting for them to start their survey. Once we have results, I will get those back to you. Then it's been requested we talk about speed bumps tonight. I've left a temporary one right there in front of Steve for everybody to see.
line Vanna for us here.
Let's have it.
We would need, as a temporary, 12 sections of those to go across from one side to the other on McVeigh.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Michelle.
When you say it's 12 sections, obviously it's multiple of that, and then you're saying in 4 places or 12 places, or what are you?
I would recommend if we're doing it, 8 places along McVeigh.
You're gonna have 12 of those times 8.
Yes, 12 of those times 8. Each one of those section takes 6 pins to hold them to the road. So we would have 72 pins holding that section down. This material here, I don't see it holding up to our winters, the way we plow. And we would try to be careful, but
I don't think the intent is to have these in place for winter, right?
well, with 72 pins holding it down, we're going to be doing quite a bit of damage to the road underneath these.
All right, so let me kind of go back to how we're talking about this. The purpose, or at least the conversation that we had previously, was about exploring the option to do some sort of temporary speed bump so that we could get an assessment as to whether they, A, helped with speeding, and B, created noise issues for the neighbors. So if this puts them into the ground, then I need your help in understanding if there's other alternatives. So we're not damaging the roads and we can still do the same assessment.
So that, and just to go along, Michelle, so the last time we talked, what we have to do is we have to do a pre-study.
Mhm.
And the pre-study is taking our speed limit sign that clocks.
But
But it doesn't do the traffic study that we need. I confirmed that with Sergeant Connell today. We have one box. Car. It
But
doesn't,
doesn't it log, I remember seeing a data printout of mileage, like how fast people were going.
that was a traffic counter that, if you remember Sergeant Gutsis, he used to do with traffic boxes with the tubes across the road.
Yeah.
Those are no longer functioning. And to purchase those are, I forget how much they're.
See, I thought that camera shot it and it basically, when it took a picture, it was taking a picture and then recording the speed.
Of only cars at a certain threshold. It'll take a picture. So in other words, if the speed limit is 25 and we set the threshold to say 35,
Right.
any car that hits 35 or above, that's the only cars that it logs.
Could we set the threshold at 25? Because here's the thing, we set the threshold at 25, which is speed limit,
Right.
right?
Right. Other than school
Anything,
zones
so
or-
it's gonna log anything above 25, correct?
Correct. But I don't know how that, I'll have to look at it and I'll talk to Sergeant.
So this was my understanding is that we set whatever that threshold is, and then it snaps a picture of anybody going above 25, right?
Right.
So the idea is to say, we're gonna pick a section, and I'm gonna say, I'm thinking between,
West and Darwin, for example.
yeah, like that section. And just to say, and capture it for a week of just traffic of that. Then we have that data log. Then what we do is I'm just looking at like temporary, like they have a 19-foot section. And I just Googled it really good, speed bumps. So 19-foot section for $400. And then what we do, that same section, we lay those speed bumps down, have the counter, and then we see what the speeds are in that section going through there.
One
And then-
problem is that doesn't count. That would just take the picture,
Well,
but you don't have any idea, was that every fifth car that was going over 25 or every car that was going over 25?
You won't get an accurate, you
Or
won't know
every
how many
100th
cars
car
are actually
that's
going
going
through
over
there.
25.
It doesn't have that.
then can we rent
That's what I was
speed
saying.
counter?
We borrow one from somebody?
I could ask, absolutely.
Is there another township?
I could ask and see if somebody has that capability.
Good Reardon, Liberty, can they?
how long would you need it?
So if we're gonna get those, I would do it at, like, pick a half-mile section.
Right. And put one here, one here.
One here, one
Yeah.
here, and then get the rent, like for a period of like a week, 10 days, just get all the thing of no speed bumps.
Right.
And it's gotta be a section that there's no stop signs or anything like that. So then we do that 10 days, and then we get a speed bump and we put that speed bump in that same section. We may have to do 2 areas. And then, and I think we can reuse it's not like, hey, we're just buying these speed bumps for this. I think it's truly something that we can reuse as township, like if we're trying to control parade traffic or this, that, and anything, just temporary thing. So it's not like a one-off that we can use this and then we put these speed bumps in and do the same study over 10 days. And then we got, data that says, yeah, we saw a slowdown or no, we didn't
Or we
see a
just- right.
slowdown.
Right.
And that aligns with, and I apologize, Andy, you weren't on it. I sent a note just saying kind of here was where I thought we were going, was we established that baseline. We, communicate to residents that we're going to place temporary speed bumps for a period of time, and then, do that count again, and then survey the residents, make sure we're giving a heavier weight to the residents on McVeigh, and just kind of go through that whole process. Now, I do think that there's more than one area, so maybe it's 10 days. If we don't want to buy a larger number of the temporaries, it's 10 days on one end of McVeigh, 10 days on the other end of McVeigh.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
other
I
end of the
agree.
school.
Great.
But with that kind of temporary speed bump, we wouldn't have to put the pins in and disturb the.
Well, you would
road,
need, you would
we?
need,
Or
you would need anchor points, but it's a temporary area,
Is
so
it
you-
this, is it the same kind of anchoring that we're talking about?
It is, I mean, you're gonna
Okay,
have
so
to
it's
anchor it
still-
into the asphalt, but, and probably patch it afterwards to make sure that we don't get, but it's a way of doing it without,
Right.
full blown.
And then, and to address your concern, the idea would be that they're gone, that they're out, and
No.
either speed bumps or not, whichever, before winter, right?
Yes.
So
Now, the
two
speed
things.
bumps that you're looking at online, Andy, are they the parking block style speed bumps, or are they like these speed humps?
Well, one is a 6-foot recycled speed bump. The other one is a speed bump and rubber speed bump, 19-foot speed bump. It just says it's in 4.5-foot sections. So,
Because the 6-inch wide, like the speed bump, more like the parking block style, is not really intended for a 25-mile-an-hour road.
We had bad-
With
like this is 25-foot speed bump.
Sorry, you froze up again.
But our concern is obviously winter time, but also the concern is
Sorry.
deteriorating the road by putting a
Sure.
ton of spikes in them. So if there's something we could get that doesn't cause,
Yeah, I mean,
require
if
to have
there's-
spikes in
right.
it and pick it up, that'd be great.
And I'm certainly not the expert on that. I know that they do get used, obviously, at events and things like that. And I can't imagine that they're, always putting in 12 pins and,
Yeah.
Well, sorry, I don't know if my internet's bad here. My concern was just trying to maintain that 25-mile-an-hour speed through there. I think the other ones I was talking, they're intended to slow it down quite a bit more.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, if we're gonna do, if we're gonna do speed bumps or speed humps or whatever you wanna call them, I think they have to be, you gotta feel them, you gotta know they're there. And so I just think that there's, I see the ones that you're talking about, Ian. I just kind of ran across them. But this is just to see, does the whole idea of a speed bump, hump,
Whatever.
correct the problem?
right.
And then if we see a decrease in traffic, then we can start analyzing, what's the next step. But right now, we don't know if these are really going to do what we want them to do.
And we know that there are residents that are advocates for some sort of traffic calming device. We
Right.
also know that there are residents that are concerned about the noise or concerned that, that it won't slow anybody down, it will just be louder. So I think this gives us an opportunity for folks to experience as close to, what it would be as possible. Now, what the best method to do that, what type of device, I'll have to lean on you, Ian.
Yeah.
I can't really see it. So
Sorry.
let me,
There's this,
I mean, just two things that I want to point out. And I know this comes about surveying and getting data in regards to who is where. And there is as you tell me, there's a small minority that likes to bring in issues up. Are we just, I don't need an answer, but I guess my more wondering, are the people that are advocating for speed bumps, humps, calming devices, are they folks that we think live on McVeigh or
Yes.
folks that live
No,
somewhere
there,
else?
I mean, honestly, and when I say that there's a small minority, I mean, there's a small vocal minority that have shared their concerns. There's of
Okay.
course people that reach out to me privately on either side of the fence saying,
Okay.
I don't want it, I do want it. But these are all, it's empty now. These are all folks that live on McVeigh. Now, I
Okay.
think when we survey other residents, we're going to hear potentially it's an inconvenience or something like that. I don't know. I
Right.
don't want to guess. But it's enough residents on that road and there's enough traffic and going
Right.
into, you know, having additional developments outside the neighborhood and all that. It makes sense, I think, to, you know, to assess it and see where we go.
Right.
Because we've talked about it for a long time,
So-
off and on.
The other item that I wanted to bring up, and I'm sorry,
No, no.
this is my last item, and I'll shut up. It is, at some point in time, we got to bring safety services into this conversation. Because I would assume, not knowing fire, not knowing police, as well as Chief Cicero, or Chief Zambito, how does that impact their equipment? How does it impact runtime? That kind of thing. There's just, and as you know, I mean, there's just a lot of factors to take into account. I don't want to lose that on the radar either.
But
And
I
that's
think
all
for
I have
us
to
to,
say.
I agree with you, and I think for us to have those conversations, we need to have some sort of idea of what the plan is,
I agree.
you know, instead of it being hypothetical.
I agree.
With that said, I will reach out to see about getting signs and so forth. The issue I think we may run into is the time of year. A lot of agencies are putting us, just like us, we have a multitude of requests to move signs and put them in different places. So I think some of the agencies, I'll reach out to the Chiefs Association tomorrow and ask if anybody has them, and if they do, can we, you know, would it be
I
possible?
appreciate it.
If we can't, what do you want to do as an alternative? Do we want to look at a traffic study, like having someone do a traffic study, or?
I mean, I think we need to look at what the options are, you know, if we can't, I don't want to throw $1 million at something where we can, you know, solve it perhaps with lower cost. But, you know, if we can't borrow, is there devices that we can rent? Is it, we don't need a full-blown traffic study, but what would it cost for us to use the equipment and,
Right.
you know, some sort of low key? I don't know, Andy, have you
So,
had
yeah,
experience with something
yeah.
like that with?
Would it be a traffic analysis or a
You
traffic
know, I
study?
don't know. I don't know. Let me,
You will look into it.
yeah, let me ask some of my people that I do and just
Okay.
kind of see what we're trying to accomplish and see if they have any ideas in terms of how to accomplish it.
Okay.
But, I mean, I would, the first thing we have to do is, you know, have somebody put the counters in.
Yeah.
Because those
Yeah.
measure the speed, the number of trips, that sort of thing.
Right.
And that's what we gotta first start, is, you know, like, how fast are people driving? You know, how many, all that good stuff in a 10-day, probably a 7 to 10-day period.
Yeah, I think 7 to
Yeah.
10 days.
Well,
is
and even
probably-
if we could borrow it and then there's a period of time that they need it and borrow it again, you
Right.
know, to do the other end. of
And
the
you're also
road,
gonna
I
know
mean,
what time of day it's,
Yes.
for the time of the day that you have your most of your issues.
Yeah, the traffic counter we had worked great with the tubes that went across the road. It was perfect. It's just unfortunately, it's in one of those things that's in disrepair. I mean, I can look into what it would cost to replace that.
I think we could
because-
probably, I mean, we don't do that a whole lot, so
Mhm.
I think if we just, you know, if we can find somebody that's willing to lend us or borrow it, or,
Right.
you know, whoever does that, that would be.
I mean, do we have any
Probably,
idea,
yeah.
just, is it repairable? Is it
No,
just
it's,
out of
it's,
date?
I would assume, and judging from what Jimmy Reardon, when we're looking at it, because we have them and pull them out, but they're beyond repair.
Okay,
And I believe it'd probably be much cheaper to replace than to fix at this point.
Any idea what those cost? Just out of
Yeah, I can find out. I don't know what they cost.
I mean, Andy, I'm with you. We don't use it that often, but
I would think most places that have those don't use it very often.
you have
Do you,
fun.
do you have
No,
connections
it's
there?
back.
Well,
I-
Ian,
You know what?
Yes.
Frank? Might be a good-
let's talk tomorrow about reaching out to the county engineer to see what equipment that they have. We'll start with them, and then if not, we'll call Tom Slack and see what ODOT could give us temporarily.
Sounds good.
Okay,
I'll hold off until I hear from you.
Okay,
You let
let's-
me know if you need me
so
to
let's
reach out. to
figure it out
Chiefs
tomorrow. Okay,
Because yeah, ODOT should have that equipment. I never thought
Right.
about county and ODOT would have
Right.
that.
Okay.
So
And then in terms of type of device, are there other options we need to explore for that? Or is it kind of this style?
I just sent you and
Oh,
chat
okay.
a temporary one. I think we're looking at something like temporary in nature, not, again, that's more permanent. And I agree with Ian, that'd be a permanent thing, but I don't think we're we just want to test it. And however we can do that, most efficiently
Right.
would work.
Agree, because if we were going to do permanent, it would not be a rubber kind of device, probably, right? It would be a
No.
concrete,
Yeah,
asphalt.
asphalt,
Well, yeah.
Okay.
yep,
If you did these, would they ultimately look like sort of those ones that was on Sefton Park?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
That are like
exactly,
6 feet, maybe
Yeah.
5 feet,
Yeah.
exactly. But you're
as
spacing them.
opposed to the real gradual.
But here's the thing, you're gonna be spacing those what are those spaced every,
Well, they have
200
3 or
feet.
2 there.
there's a
Yeah,
lot.
250. Yeah, 250 to 500 feet to maintain the 25-mile-an-hour zone.
Yeah,
Is
so,
what space that.
yeah, then that's gotta be communicated to the residents. It's like, hey, this isn't like 1 or 2, this is like,
Oh, yeah.
you
No,
know.
I mean, you're right. I agree. That would need to be part of what we communicate, for
Right.
sure. So we be looking closer, Ian, to 250 feet if this were to happen, or 500? You thinking?
I would say 500 feet would work in Brookside at the, I don't have that exact map, but when I calculated 8 of them, I was measuring between 500 and right around 650 feet to kind of even them up between stop signs.
Okay. And it would be a single hump at each of those points, right? It's not like.
Yes.
Okay,
It would be a single hump, yes. The 14-foot is the standard on the speed hump. About 3 to 4 inches tall.
so is it reasonable to think that the additional research that needs to be done, and I can start drafting something for communication, we'd be able to revisit this at our next meeting?
well, why don't we just,
Or-
why don't we shoot emails back and
Okay.
forth and, as soon as you guys find out something, let's just shoot out emails and. let's
yeah, we
see
don't
if
have to wait
can-
for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay, good. I like
Yeah.
that answer better.
yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Just do this out of curiosity, 25 miles an hour, you go about 37 feet a second. So, just call it 40 feet a second.
Hmm.
You don't want to be going over these every 5 seconds necessarily.
Right.
Want to go over them at all, but that's my opinion.
Well, I was gonna say, if they were 250 feet apart, about every 6 seconds you'd be going over. one. That's
Well, that would
that's-
slow them down, or they would learn a new route to go around our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Even better.
mine is a progressive shock absorber. All right,
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, fire and EMS.
Sir, we have to rescind the old one and you have to sign the new one.
I move to rescind resolution number 062-21 from January 19th, 2021 that approved the second amendment to the Upper Arlington Fire Protection and Emergency Medical Services contract. Does that have to be by roll call vote?
No.
No. Okay, I so move.
Second,
Vote.
yes.
Yes.
I move to approve the second amendment to the Upper Arlington Fire Protection and Emergency Medical Service contract and authorize trustee Roper to execute the same. So move.
Oh, second.
Vote?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah, that's it.
Second myself.
Okay. Anything else? Do we have any reports?
Upper Arlington Fire responded in Perry Township in April 9 times.
Anything from Worthington? They're still working through their,
Yeah, I've got
Was there anything with Epcot or Romanelli on that list?
one. It just says EMS call.
One.
police.
No cars, helicopters,
I'm
boats,
sorry, what?
scuba gear.
Chief of police isn't asking.
I don't have anything. I mean, I come up with something.
No, that's all right. Moving on. No regret. Joe's not on. I don't think we have anything. Madam Administrator.
Let's see, under old business, I think we just had another meeting on the one where, well, we're actually going out on a site visit. They're gonna, next week, Ian and Joe and I are all going out to kind of assess, they're gonna assess that area for moving forward. The state's gonna be on site handling that, correct? Under new business, it's time to renew the OTAMA policy. The motion that I am requesting is to approve $46,086 for the 2021-22 year. I do want to let you know that we will be getting a refund that's anticipated to be about just over $3,100 back. And that usually comes back through investments that OTAMA's made that they share with all its members.
I move to renew the PERMA policy in the cost of $46,086 for the 2021-22 year. I so move.
Second.
Vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see, I did get, first off, I just want to mention our intern started. He's doing a bang up job. He's flying through all of this zoning information. I was curious to know we'd like for him to keep on track. Digitized and so on and so forth, but there's several other projects that we would love for him to work on. I don't want to take away from that time though. So I was curious to know if you might consider adding, increasing his time to 30 hours, up to 30 hours a week versus the 20 hours a week.
I mean, I'm fine with it as long as we have, if he's clicking along,
He is
then
faster than
So,
fast.
part-time, not adding benefits of.
Right, well, it'd be 30 hours a week, so he'd
Same
be.
enough.
what's the cutoff for part-time?
32 hours, I believe.
Is it 32?
Yeah, there was an anticipation that we would have two interns. We
interns,
just didn't
right.
quite get lucky enough to.
Oh, that
From the
one,
Morpsey,
oh, the Morpsey one didn't?
and we keep getting.
They
How
keep
big?
finding other jobs. Yeah.
Well,
So
why don't
that's
we
why
just-
the
You
hour.
realize how charming you are?
Yeah.
Well, then why don't we just plan on upping him to the full 32, 32, is it 32 or below?
Right?
At 32 gives you benefits.
Yeah.
Oh, 32,
So,
so
30 is
30,
a
all right,
good buffer
that
to
sounds,
keep- Yeah,
yeah, I mean, if he's doing a great job, then let's
He's
do it.
fantastic, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. That'd be
Because we were gonna have two interns, so,
Okay.
all right,
Are you still looking to fill the second intern?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
We're beyond
that.
We've been rejected enough.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Let's see, the only other thing, and I didn't get a chance to tell you about this, Michelle, I got word back that our audit is starting on Monday. It's an abbreviated audit again.
Right.
They were anticipating 2 people out and spending a couple days. Now it looks like 1 person is coming out and it might be 4 days. So, we'll kind of update you as we go, but it should be pretty straightforward. They have access to all of our UAN files, so it's not pulling as much information as usual, so. And, that's all I have.
fiscal officer.
Request a motion for approval of payroll and disbursements.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Vote,
Yes.
yes.
And
Thank you.
then, just separate from that, Beth and Mary, I think I copied you on my response back to Lisa Keller at
Mhm.
Park. So Mary, if you don't see those credits come back for those fees, please let me know.
Okay, I will. I'll watch for 'em.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? We need to go into executive session. So I move to enter into executive session to consider the resignation of a public employee by roll call vote.
Mr. English?
Yes.
Mr. Cheney?
yes.
Mr. Roper?
Yes.
Just give me a second.